topic to. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So today we have a very interesting but very difficult topic because each of us are in different stages of our life. We could be nearing Vanaprastha, we could be in pure Grihastha Ashrama, we might just have entered Grihastha Ashrama. This Gita Gyan is more or less for the people in Grihastha Ashrama, and the different issues of Grihastha Ashrama is what we'll be discussing. So there's a nice flow to this story. We have already started the Puranjana story. So let me give a quick background and then we will start with the prayers. Right. So this whole story goes with what, the Swayambhu Manu's lineage. Can you explain me the Swayambhu Manu's lineage was a question that was asked by Vidura to Maitreya Muni. And so we heard about Dhruv Maharaj, then we heard about Prithu Maharaj and so on. And then we came to this wonderful king called Prachina Barhi. So a couple of chapters back, this king was described and he had 10 sons whom we know as the Prachetas. So the king told the Prachetas, his sons, saying that it's time for you to take over the kingdom. For that, you need to perform some austerities, meditations, be qualified to become a king. So he sent them away, and then all these sons came to this wonderful area on the side of Himalayas, where a beautiful lake, and they started doing their meditation with their austerities. Many pastimes happened, but with their austerities, Lord Shiva appeared there. Lord Shiva was very happy with their with the meditation, with their austerities, and he came to them, and he gave a wonderful song. This was the previous chapter, which is called the Rudra Geet, the instructions of Lord Shiva to the Prachetas. So with that instructions, he gave a set of Falastuti, or the glories of what will you achieve when you follow or when you chant these mantras of the Rudra Geet. After that, the sons continued for another 10,000 years meditating or singing the Rudra Geet, glorifying Lord Narayana or Vishnu or Lord Krishna. While this was happening, Prachina Barhi was the king. He started performing many austere activities. Basically, he started performing many yagnas which were materially beneficial, which would elevate one to higher planetary systems. So, in a way, he was also doing some activities which were favorable, but in the concept of dharma, artha, to his sons, and his sons were getting spiritually elevated because of their association with Lord Shiva and glorifying Lord Narayana. Parallelly, Prachina Barhi was not spiritually elevating, but he was just elevating himself so that he could get higher destinations. And that's when Narad Muni visits Prachina Barhi, and he tells him that, well, you're doing these activities, not wrong, but these are material activities. Do you understand? I'll tell you a story of a king called Puranjana. And that's how this chapter starts, where you will see that every point in time, the leaders of the society are trained by very qualified personalities so that they can elevate not only themselves, but if the leaders are elevated, the praja who follow them, they themselves get elevated. That's what was Narad Muni's mood, and that's how he came here. So he gave this story of King Puranjana. So Puranjana means one who enjoys the body. The Chana or Puranjana, the meaning is one who enjoys, made up story in simple language, and he's telling this as an instruction. And this story very much resonates with all of us. We can ourselves see in this story, because we can also treat ourselves as Puranjana, one who tries to enjoy this body, or one who's trying to think that this body is everything. Okay, so what all we do. So far, we are doing the second part of it. And so far in the first part, what all did we see? Narada's mercy towards Prachina Barhi, once he came there, and he told what you gain by this karmic activity. doing the yajnas according to the Vedic instructions. Why is that wrong? Basically, when you do these activities, basically the activities that are mentioned in the Vedic scriptures, which are about 70-80% of the Vedic scriptures, is all about karma yoga. How do you better your life this time, and how do you better it next time? So that's what you see. It's an elevation, but that doesn't take you back to Godhead. It doesn't give you love of Godhead. So Prachina Parishad was stuck there. And so Narad Muni was giving him that instruction. And when did he give this instruction? Prachina Parishad requests for pure knowledge, admitting the misfortunes of a Grahamedi's lifestyle. See, when you need knowledge, you need to surrender to the person who gives you knowledge. So that's what we saw last time. And Narad Muni actually gives him the vision of the different animals that were sacrificed by the different yagnas of the king, Prachina Parishad. Right? So all these animals, they were waiting for the king to die so that they can take a revenge on him. And he gave him the sight, or gave him the visual of these animals waiting. And that one scared Prachina Parishad. So now he was very attentive to hear. So whatever activities that we are doing, so many festivals have come up, like Varamahalakshmi Puja, your Ganesha Puja, non-Vaishnava pujas in one sense. We also respect all these wonderful personalities. And, even at our home, my parents follow, and you will actually see that they play some tape while they are doing the puja. There is one Purohit who tells you the process. At the end of it, he tells what all happens when you do this. Right? So Ganesh Puja, then he'll tell you different stories by which, if because of doing this puja, they got salt. They have the Satyanarayana Puja. One who does this, his misfortune is removed, his business will flourish, his daughter will get married, whatever, right? So all this they will give. And when you stop for a moment and think of what all benefits you get, including the fact that next lifetime you will go to a heavenly planet, everything is material. So Narad Muni, to give this knowledge, he gave the visual first, so that the person who is hearing is now attentive. Okay, even after doing Ashwamedha Yagna, wherein I sacrificed an Ashwa, or Gomedha Yagna, where I sacrificed a cow, I'm still going to struggle. So is there a better way to come out of it? And that's when Narad Muni starts the story of Puranjana. So Puranjana is said to be a very handsome looking king, and he's searching for a suitable place to live. And the way we understand is, the soul is looking for a beautiful body to live in. So we'll keep connecting back to the body, which is Puranjana, to the soul, and an intelligence that will come in a bit. So he enters this beautiful place, a city of 9 gates, which is a typical body. And then in the city of 9 gates, he sees a very beautiful woman called Puranjani. Right? It's a story, right? So this Puranjani is referred to as intelligence. So when the intelligence is correctly tuned for the Lord, then the body is taken care of very nicely. If the intelligence is not tuned correctly, what happens is what we will see today. Okay, so there is a small episode just before today's shloka, is that this Puranjana looks at this beautiful woman. She's coming with her own entourage of people. That means the intelligence comes with the mind, the ego, and the different senses, which are getting attracted, right? So that's what this Puranjani does. He looks at her, get attracted. He's flattered by her. So he goes to her and he proposes her, right? So this is a beautiful looking place. Why don't we get married and stay together? Okay, so till the shloka number 31, this is what we saw. So we will start today from shloka 32 onwards. Okay, before that, let's do a quick invocation prayers. So like I said, it's a difficult session, because we are in the Grahastha life, and this one doesn't give you too many points, but it's just going to stick to the point of enjoyment. So what we will try to see is some of those elements that we would understand from a material perspective. I'll see how much I can cover. When I was preparing it, I did not feel that it will be a full 1 hour plus class. So wherever it's required, let's see if we can add some some more instructions or connections, whatever Srila Prabhupada mentions. Because even in the purports, more or less, we actually see the same topic being repeated, which is what we'll try to cover. Okay, so let's do a quick invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Mukam Karoti Vachanam Pangam Langayate Girim Yadkripat Maham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarnam Nirvananamadam Shri Chaitanya. Okay, so we have set the context up. So hoping you can all see my screen. Okay, so this is Shloka 31. This is where we stop. So this Puranjana is talking to the girl and he's proposing, right? So this is where we ended saying, my dear girl, your face is so beautiful with very nice eyebrows and eyes and with your bluish hair scattered about. In addition, your sweet sounds are coming from your mouth. Nonetheless, you are so covered with shyness that you do not see me face to face. I therefore request you, my dear girl, to smile and kindly raise your head to see me. Okay, very nice. It's a shyful girl. So that's what we saw. So we'll start with today's shloka, text 32. In this chapter 25 in the 4th canto. So chapter 25 is the story of Puranjana. So Narada Vacha Ittam Puranjanam Nari Yachamanam Adhivravat Abhyanandata Tam Veram Hasnanti Veeramohita. Translations and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Narada continued, my dear king, when Puranjana became so attracted and impatient to touch the girl and enjoy her, the girl also became attracted by his words and accepted his request by smiling. By this time, she was certainly attracted by the king. Purport. By this incident, we can understand that when a man is aggressive and begins to woo a woman becomes attracted to the man. This process is described in the Bhagavatam as Pumsa Sriya Mithuna Bhavam Mithuni Bhavam Etam. This attraction is enacted on the platform of sexual life. Thus, the sex impulse is the platform of material engagement. This conditional life, the platform of material sense enjoyment, is the cause of forgetfulness of spiritual life. In this way, a living entity's original Krishna consciousness becomes covered or converted into material consciousness. Thus, one engages in the business of sense gratification. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalit Shri Vishakhanvitanscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Japatitaram Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschat Videshatani. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. Hare Krishna. Well, so this episode we all know. Probably start with a very simple piece that I think we need an answer to. Is there any time any time in your life that you felt that you have achieved something that you were desperately waiting for, and then felt there was something better, or felt that, Arey, it's not giving me what I thought it would give me, right? So in a typical class, you would probably ask devotees to raise their hand and give their comments on it. But I would probably take it as all of us have gone through it, right? So even to an extent of, I buy the latest mobile phone, expensive mobile phone I would buy, and then few months later there is a better model available, right? I get the best of cars, I get the best of marks, whatever it is, right? So I would finish my 10th mark with flying colors, get awarded, rewarded in the school, and then suddenly you realize that I'm supposed to chase the 11th marks, right? So typically, material world, we'll keep seeing this in today's shlokas, is that whatever you achieve, it's always going to be insignificant or incomplete. There's a nice story to it. There was once a very nice disciple of Sripad Ramanujacharya in Srirangam. This is a story that the Sri Vaishnavas usually tell. So this devotee used to very nicely, very enthusiastically keep serving his spiritual master, which is Sripad Ramanujacharya. Wherever his spiritual master was, he would be around that place. He would do all kind of services, from taking care of the place to taking care of devotees to attending the class very sincerely, doing any kind of service for the deities, everything. Suddenly, Ramanujacharya once saw this devotee, that he asked his disciples, "What happened to my disciple? For a few days, I have not seen him now. He used to always be around us, right?" So, like they say, like the cat is always around the owner. This person used to keep roaming around here, like a cat roams around its kitten. Now, where is this? Where is this fellow? Why is he not coming? So the disciples say, "Oh, actually, you know what, Guru Maharaj, this person just got married, and since his marriage, he's been very busy with his family life. I know he got married. He took permission from me, but why is he so busy? Ask him to come and meet me." So this fellow, Ramanujacharya, actually sees him go in the marketplace behind his wife, holding her sari. And that's when he asked this question, why is this fellow not coming? Right? So ask him to come and meet me. So next day, this person comes in, pays obeisances, comes in front of his guru and says that, Guru Maharaj, you call me. He's like, yes, why are you not coming here more often? He says, no, I just got married and I'm taking care of my grihastha life. But that doesn't sound right. You were earlier also in a grihastha life. You were taking care of your parents. You were taking care of other things. So what is it that is now holding you back? And this fellow says, you know what, Guru Maharaj, I have to tell you that my wife's eyes are so beautiful. My wife's eyes are so beautiful that I'm not able to come out of it. So I always want to stay with her. Ramanujacharya gives a smile and he says that, okay, this sounds valid. Your reason sounds valid. But do one thing. Tomorrow, why don't you come for the Lord's darshan? Sri Ranganatha Swami, why don't you come for darshan with me? And I'll probably show you something which is very attractive. And disciple listens to the spiritual master. And he comes next day when Ramanujacharya is visiting the deity of Ranganath Swami. So he says, can you now look at the eyes of the Lord there? The disciple had seen the Lord many, many times. So it's his hometown, right? So he's seen the Lord many times. Now this time when his spiritual master says, he turns around, looks at the Lord, and he just starts crying. He falls at the feet of his spiritual master and says, I have never seen something more attractive. So the spiritual master says, go back, serve your duties of a grihastha ashram. But always remember, the most attractive thing is going to be the Lord. He tells this, and the disciple goes back. And since then, he understands that the material life whatever is your most attractive, that will also fall down, that will also stop, that will, you will stop getting attracted to that. There'll be something else that's more attractive. If you just look back at your life, you'll understand that probably in your school you had your favorite compass box with either those days we used to have a Mickey Mouse or we used to have a car. And when you grew up, you don't want to carry it in your 11th and 12th, you moved on. Now you have a favorite hero pen or whatever the pen that you had, moved on. Later, you didn't want to carry that. Few years back, you probably had a flip phone or a phone that would slide phone and all that, moved on. So in the material world, there is everything that is temporary that you get most attracted to, even relationships with your parents, with your spouse, with your children. If you think that is your life, if your life is centered around that, then sorry to say, but that is not true. That's why the lotus feet of the spiritual master is the one that you're supposed to be most attracted to. And that is where you will progress and go further to the eternal thing that you will get most attracted to. That is the Lord Himself. Okay. That's the background of what we will see today. We'll try to connect back to what's happening in Puranjana's life. Okay. And we will see how much we can go further, how much we can cover, how much we can understand from the purports. Okay. I'll be using Shubodhini in certain places for references. There is not much to say, it just flows through. So we'll go to Shubodhini where required. Okay. So Shloka 32, we just saw. So Puranjana is impatient, but the girl is also equally favorable towards him, right? So in the material world, when the body for that, and it also starts supporting. When the body is trained to get the Lord, the intelligence also will support the same thing. So now Puranjani is speaking. The girl said, "Oh, best of human beings." So he had that question, right? So who are you? Where have you come from? Who are your parents and all that? I'm hoping you remember. It's a few shlokas back. So I don't know who had begotten me. I cannot speak to you perfectly about this, nor do I know the names or the origins of the associates with me. Basically, Srila Prabhupada in the purport mentions the living entity is ignorant of his origin. He does not know why this material world was created, why others are working in this material world, what the universal source, or what the ultimate source of this manifestation is. No one knows the answer to these questions, and this is called ignorance. So the intelligence here, so we need to keep understanding. Puranjani is intelligence, Puranjana is the body. Okay, trying to enjoy each other, right? So, there are multiple levels of enjoyment, right? So just at the intelligence or the mind level, a person can enjoy. Okay, it need not be only a purely sense gratificatory activity. Okay, even the person who is playing the chess, he sits there and he's waiting for the next move, or he's done a superb move and the opponent is waiting. No physical activity, nothing else is happening. He's just waiting. The opponent is also waiting. Both of them are thinking. The thinking gives him so much pleasure. That's what people get attracted to. Okay, so it's not always physical pleasure that we are talking about. It could be a lot subtler as well. Okay, so the ignorance means I do not know the ultimate source of why I exist, both from the material world and from the spiritual world. I don't know the cause here. A lot of people are trying to identify this. The scientists are trying to see what's happening with the Big Bang Theory. Recently, there was some article that was published on parallel to Big Bang Theory. There's a theory of universe, there's a theory of multiverse. That's happening on one side, pure material. There are others who are on the path of spiritual realization, the jnanis, but they are trying to use multiple formats of trying to understand. One is the format of neti neti, or not this, not this, not this. They try to understand, okay, if this is not God, this is not God, this is not God. They try to achieve God that way. Then there are others who actually go through all the different shastras, all the different Vedas and the Vedantas, trying to conclude, okay, how was this whole thing created? Okay, we did this in the second canto, third canto. We will be doing further some of this in the fifth canto, trying to understand what is this creation. Oh, I've heard this Meru mountain, the Loka Loka mountains. I've heard about this region which is fully dark, a region which is fully made of gold. I've heard of the different seas which are made of salt water, made of liquor, made of honey, made of sugarcane juice, and so on. So people are researching. And then we have someone like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, someone like Srila Prabhupada, who comes and hands this over on a platter, saying that here is what you need to know. Don't have to do any other research. Here is why you are here in the material world. Here is your destination. Even if you are a little bit intelligent, we will have to accept this, take this format and progress. We should become serious about this. That's what we'll be seeing through Srila Prabhupada's purpose. This ignorance keeps coming. All the material scientists to the spiritual researchers, they're still trying to struggle, trying to understand this. Everything is functioning in order. But people foolishly think that they are produced by chance in this material world, and that after death, they will become zero. They think this beautiful place of habitation will automatically remain. This reminds me of a nice story. There was once a scientist, there are two scientists who were there, and one scientist who was an absolute atheist, and he believed in this concept of everything comes by chance. And there's another scientist who is also trying to understand scientifically, but he's using his love for God also in this. So one time, this atheist scientist visited this other scientist house. So this scientist had newly created a model of the solar system, a revolving model or something like that. So he sees a beautiful model. He comes to say, "Wow, this is very nice. How did you create it? Who created this?" The scientist said, "Oh, you know what? I took a few pieces of glass. I put it down. It broke, and suddenly this model came." He says, "You're foolish. How will that happen?" He says, "That is what you're telling. Everything comes by chance. You're saying this whole universe has come by chance." Okay, the scientists did not have an answer to it. Okay, the scientists don't agree. But the fact is, everything in this universe is created in a very nice order, and it functions according to the order given by the Lord, the laws of nature. Okay, moving on. Oh, great hero. So a person who doesn't understand this is called an ignorant person, right? So Puranjani is now saying that, oh, there are a lot of foolish people. Oh, great hero, we only know that we are existing in this place. We do not know what to understand who has created this beautiful place for our residence. Now, so Puranjana proposed, Puranjani is accepting, but she's saying that I don't know anything about this place. This beautiful place is there. I don't even know who created this place. But looks like it is for our enjoyment. Like this material world is for our enjoyment. That's what we say, right? So I'm not bothered who is God, but everything here belongs to me. And then we go to something like an Isha Upanishad saying that you are given a quota, get out of this place. This doesn't belong to you. Today, this place was in your name. Yesterday, it was someone else's name. Tomorrow, someone else is going to own it. And this is for everything that you see materially. Okay, typically you will understand, right? So, for just taking an example of Mataji's childhood, they were taken care of by their parents. As they grow, they were taken care of by their brothers and their parents, and they get married. Suddenly the husband is taking care of you, and a few days later you're taking care of others, your children, your in-laws, your husband, whoever it is. Your position keeps moving, right? So you were given care, you are giving care, and you're again being given care. So there's nothing permanent here. Unless a person comes to Krishna consciousness, all his activities are defeated. This human form of life is especially meant to dissipate ignorance. But without understanding how to dissipate ignorance, people are planning and building many things after death. However, all of this is finished. Whatever, so we all know whatever we get materially is temporary, whatever we get spiritually has a permanent credit for us. Okay, so start investing in permanent credit. We'll probably see if we have a few minutes at the end, we can talk about Haridas Thakur and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur appearance day yesterday and disappearance day today. So we have two personalities. We'll talk about them a little bit, understanding what is permanent and what is temporary. So Puranjani continues, my dear gentlemen, all these men and women with me are known as my friends and the snake who always remains awake, protects the city even during my sleeping hours. So much I know. I do not know anything beyond this. So he said, no, the senses are all around, and the prana is the one that keeps the city going. The snake is compared to the prana, the life air, and the senses are all there to enjoy the city, the body, basically, right? So even during sleep, the prana is awake, only then the person is alive. Okay, that's what the intelligence is telling the body. Or Puranjani is telling about all of them in this city of 9 gates to Puranjana. Oh, killer of the enemy, you have some or other come here. This is certainly great fortune for me. I wish all auspicious things for you. You have a great desire to satisfy your senses, and all my friends and I shall try our best in all respects to fulfill your desire. Now the soul is searched across, found a beautiful place, the body, and the intelligence is telling, here is the body, satisfy you. Okay, that's what our intelligence is tuned to do. Materially, it tries to satisfy you. The living entity comes down into the material world for sense gratification, and intelligence, represented by the woman, gives him the proper direction by which he can satisfy his senses to their best capacity. Right, so we all understand this concept. It's not a new concept. It is just how troubled or how wonderfully we are covered over in this city of 9 gates. Okay, moving on. My dear Lord, I have just arranged the city of 9 gates for you so that you can have all kind of sense gratification. You may live here for 100 years and everything for your sense gratification will be supplied. Dharma artha kama moksham darha samprapti hetavaha. The wife is the cause of all kinds of success in religion, economic development, sense gratification, ultimately salvation. When one accepts a wife, it is to be understood that he is being helped in his progressive march towards liberation. So these 4 things, right? So dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. These 4 are given. So the city is created, the body is created, the wife enters, the intelligence is there, and you can perform your karmic activities for dharma, artha, kama, which means your religiosity, your economic development, and sense enjoyment, right? So you do these 3 in a regulated way, and ultimately you might get progress enough for liberation. What is the context here? Context is very simple, right? So Prachinavar, he who is doing these activities, which are religious in nature, for economic development and sense enjoyment, for himself and for his praja, is being told by Narad Muni, like, this lady, the intelligence telling the body is very similar to what you are doing. Your intelligence is misdirecting you because you will progressively go up, but people are stuck with dharma, artha, and kama because they continue to enjoy sense gratification. They will fall down. They will again do activities. They will be in the cycle of birth and death. Your moksha is not easy. It's not going to be easy. And that moksha also, if you don't develop love of Godhead, even that moksha is not relishable. Right? So anyway, you're in a grihastha ashrama, so you better have to do something more. Anyways, Puranjani is continuing here. How can I expect to unite with others who are neither conversant about sex nor capable of knowing how to enjoy life while living on or after death? Such foolish persons are like animals because they do not know the process of sense enjoyment in this life and after death. Right? So how do you enjoy this life? There's so many facilities available in the material world. Why don't we use it? Why don't we use it? A person who doesn't know to use it is foolish, according to misdirected intelligence. Right? When the intelligence is corrupted, it will misdirect you, saying that, Arey, have you not seen the latest Rajinikanth movie? How did you miss it? That is so much fun. That's what our intelligence will say. That's what people around us, when they're talking, if you don't have the right kind of association, you will want to understand more and more. Arey, it looks like there is some taste in this. A little bit of taste will drag you down. Suddenly, you will realize that when you're chanting your japa, all of us here, if so many, 17, 18, 19 of us are here early morning at 6:30 trying to log in to a Bhagavatam class, Obviously, that means that we are somehow doing our japa, right? So, but when you are getting more and more diverted to this material things while doing your japa, you will see that there is so much of inattentiveness. This is something I have learned over a period of time. I have also heard from a lot of senior Vaishnavas saying that inattentiveness in your chanting is a clear sign that you are not progressing spiritually. Inattentiveness in your chanting, inattentiveness in your services, right? So when you're chanting, if the mobile phone is next to you, that itself is 50% the problem. If you're not chanting early in the morning, that's another 20% of the problem. I know some Matanis cannot do, they have other family responsibilities and so on. I don't deny it. But you'll have to have exclusively dedicated time for Krishna. Otherwise, you are going to suffer spiritually. As in, you're not going to relish spirituality. What will happen? Then you'll start enjoying materially. And that's what it says here. Hey, there's so much of things to enjoy materially. What are you telling? Are, have you seen Switzerland? Oh, you every year go to same Vrindavan, same Mayapur, same Jagannath Puri. Come to Switzerland. Come, let's go to Andamans or Sri Lanka or wherever it is, right? So let's go to a beach, let's go to a hill station. We told we were going for a yatra to Haridwar, Rishikesh, and coming down to Vrindavan. And people told, oh, Rishikesh, then you are going to do whitewater rafting. There is a nice place you can do a trekking. Like, no, we are going with 150 people. You're going with 150 people. How will you enjoy? Exactly. In association of devotees, the enjoyment is multifold, but spiritually connected. If you're trying to enjoy materially, then that's a different issue. And that's what it says here. Right. So when we plan for Vrindavan Yatra, people call Vrindavan, say Agra, Prabhu, 3 kilometers. Are we going to see Taj Mahal? You're going to see the Samadhi Mandirs of wonderful acharyas in Vraj, in Vrindavan. Why don't you come there? You don't need a Taj Mahal. Insignificant. So when our intelligence is getting corrupted with all this, then understand your chanting falls. Or the other way, if your chanting is not happening very nicely, please understand you're getting materially diverted. Okay. And when you're materially getting diverted, you have material fun. It is not, Maya is very, very nice. The moment you get material attracted, she is giving you fun. She is going to wait for you. Arey, you know, you are so much capable of enjoying so many things here. Have you tried the latest restaurant? Have you tried the latest theme park? Have you tried the latest car? Have you tried going to this place? Have you tried getting this association? Have you tried so much money? Whatever it is. She's going to give you a long list where you have to tell her no, otherwise you're stuck. And that's what Puranjani is saying. Here is some things that you can enjoy. If you don't enjoy, you're foolish. You're like an animal that is bound. We are also saying the same thing. Spiritually also. You're animal who are bound if you don't enjoy spiritual life. Because this animal also goes through this. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. You will also do the same thing. Okay, moving on. The women continued in this material world. A householder's life begins. Brings all kinds of happiness in religion, economic development, and sense gratification, and the begetting of children, grandchildren, and grandsons. After that, one may desire liberation as well as material reputation. The house to gain promotion to superior planetary systems. All this material happiness is practically unknown to the transcendentalists. They cannot even imagine such happiness. We'll spend a few minutes here. This is your core concept, Nivritti Marga. Okay, so if you look at the shloka, it says that a householder's life, a grahastha ashrama, you can do a lot of things. You can have material fun. You can have religiosity, economic development, sense gratification. You'll have children, grandchildren, whatever they get attracted to you. They are, you relish all this, and you may get liberation or not get liberation, but you can work towards material reputation, not liberation. and the householder can appreciate the results of all these sacrifices that he is doing, right? So people appreciate, oh, you know, itne achhe aadmi the. This person was so nice. They did so much. They constructed the road. They built this apartment. They did this. They did that. Materially speaking, unless you put Krishna in the center, whatever you get materially, there was someone else will come and take over. Everyone thought they could rule the world. It could be Alexander to King Ashoka to whoever were the Mohammedans who had come, the Genghis Khans who had come, the Hitlers who had come. Today, someone else. Today probably the Trumps of the world think that they are ruling the world, and tomorrow someone else will come. They're always moving goal, moving target. And if we think that this is going to give us happiness, there's nothing which is more foolish. And that's what is saying. All the material happiness is practically unknown for a transcendentalist. They cannot even imagine there is so much happiness. Have you seen the Disney World? Have you seen the beautiful Swiss Alps? Have you seen this? Have you seen that? If you have not seen, fortunate, you're actually doing well. Just give me one moment. My voice coming through, Prabhu? Is it still breaking? Hare Krishna.
It's better now, Prabhuji. It was breaking for last 1-2 minutes. It was slightly breaking, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Shri Hari Prabhu or any devotee who can unmute and confirm if I'm audible.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Am I audible now?
You're audible, but video has frozen, Prabhuji.
Okay. Is there a delay?
There's a delay also, yes.
Sorry. My broadband just turned off. I didn't realize. I just connected to. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Shri Hari Prabhu. Can you
Hare
make
Krishna,
me the host?
Prabhuji. Yes, I'm making the co-host moment.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Very sorry, the broadband just turned off. It, looks like there's an issue here. So I've just connected over the mobile. I'm hoping this is audible.
This is clear.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to share the screen, but I can just talk through it. I'm very sorry for this. Didn't expect. Okay, just moving on. We were talking about the Nivritti Marga and the Pravritti Marga. Okay, so Pravritti Marga means sense enjoyment. That means I'm trying to progress using all the sense gratificatory items. I'm still trying to achieve progress, right? So it's not that I will not progress at all. You will progress to heavenly planets. From there, also you can still further progress. But the process is very slow. And anytime you are attracted to something, you are going to stay back in that place, even the material world. Right? So we have heard of this Kailash story, who gets attracted to the house, he comes multiple births, he is going to be stuck there. Okay, while Nivritti Marga is a path of basically renouncing all these things that are materially there, so that you have a single pointed focus. That what Puranjani is saying, right? So this is unknown to the transcendentalist. That pleasure that is known to the transcendentalist, that pleasure that they want to achieve, is the Nivritti Marga. Nivritti Marga is you renounce this material world and try to achieve something spiritual. Okay, so these are the two parts. Okay, now Srila Prabhupada in the purports actually very clearly calls out the biggest attraction in this material world is going to be your sex attraction. Okay, the more you are attracted to the sex life, your Nivritti Marga will not start. Your renouncing first means that you have to renounce relishing the sex life. So I reading from the purport, it says, in the Nivritti Marga, however, on the path of transcendental realization, sex is completely forbidden. The social orders are divided into four, which are Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa, and only in the householder life can the Pravritti Marga be encouraged or accepted according to the Vedic instruction. Even this Pravritti Marga, which is gradual progression, even that one is acceptable only for the Grihasthas. In the orders of Brahmacharya, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa, there is no facility of sex. Okay. Sex enjoyment is a major thing. Trying to enjoy sex. So there is a lot of restriction, lot of rules that are there for even the grihasthas. And firstly, we need to be aware of it. Okay, so we should be careful with this. Okay, in this verse, the woman is advocating Pravritti Marga only and is discouraging the path of Nivritti. She clearly says that the yatis, the transcendentalists who are concerned only with spiritual life, Kaivalya, cannot imagine the happiness of Pravritti Marga. However, factually, Pravritti Marga is based on sex life, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Yen Maitunadi, Grahamedi, Sukhami Tucham. A householder who is too much addicted to Pravritti Marga is actually called a Grahamedi, not a Grihastha. Although the Grihastha desires sense gratification, he acts according to the Vedic injunctions. So we have heard this many times, right? So we are progressing spiritually means giving the material enjoyment. Not only sex enjoyment, it basically means that we are giving a material enjoyment. Okay, that's very important. Moving on to shloka number 40, the women continued, according to authorities, the householder life is pleasing not only to oneself, but to all the forefathers, demigods, great sages, saintly persons, and everyone else. A householder life is thus beneficial. When one is born in the material world, right? So we are filled with a lot of obligations. We have obligations to our parents, we have obligations to all the demigods, the sun in the morning that's giving us light, the moon in the night, the water, the air, everything, right? So all the demigods, we have obligation towards each of them. If we don't respect them, if we don't pay them the taxes, like we pay the, if we don't pay the road tax, you can't take a vehicle out. If you don't pay the property tax, you can't stay in the house. Similarly, if you don't pay the taxes to these demigods, you will be stuck. Okay, and to pay these taxes, you do the different yagnas and the homas, right? And when you're doing them properly, you're in the proper householder life. And when you come to spiritual life, when you come to Krishna consciousness, all the taxes to all the demigods, you give them the best tax, which is you telling them that you want to become Krishna conscious. Like it says, by serving the stomach, all the parts of the body are taken care of. By watering the root, all the branch, all the parts of the tree are taken care of. Similarly, by worshipping Lord Krishna, all the obligation that you have towards your demigods, towards your parents, forefathers, your teachers, your children, your society leaders, whoever it is, everything is taken care of. So as a Grihastha, we need to understand this. Otherwise, we may not be able to further progress. Okay, going on to shloka number 42. O mighty armed, who in this world will not be attracted by your arms, which are just like the bodies of serpents? Actually, you relieve the distress of husbandless women like us by your attractive smile and your aggressive traveling on the surface of just to benefit us only. You, what is my life? You are my Nata, you are my husband. It's a world called Anatha Varga in this. Don't have anyone, right? Said you need to be protected at all times. So, such a nice person, you are my protector. Without you, how will my life continue? Okay, so the intelligence that is misdirecting us to enjoy the sense gratification is actually telling us the same thing. And come, let's enjoy. Without you, there's no enjoyment for me. This happens, right? So when you started your Krishna consciousness, whenever you started, you would have realized that people, your friends, others with whom you have been for a long, long time, they are now telling that, "Arey, tere bina maza nahi aa raha hai, yaar. Why don't you come? We'll go for trekking, biking, hiking, whatever it is, right?" So whatever you did earlier, without you, that cricket matches are incomplete or your hotel visits are incomplete, right? So you would have all gone through this when you took up Krishna consciousness in the beginning, or going through it still now. I mean, your relatives, your friends, they still say that, "Arey, without you, it's not good. Why don't you join us?" And you don't want to join. You're like, "Arey, chhod do yaar." Ideally, we should be able to tell a no. If you're still struggling to tell a no, then please understand that you're not so serious. And all of us go through it. I can't tell a no to a few people, and I keep praying that, "Arey, let that person not call me. Let that person's birthday fall on a weekday, and that weekend I'm very busy." Otherwise, if it falls on a weekend, it becomes an obligation. "Arey, jana padega," and then they will talk all nonsense for next 3 hours, and then you come back, you're like, "Why did I waste 5 hours of my life there?" Right? So you keep praying to the Lord, saying that, "Let me not get diverted and get wasted." Okay. So we'll move on. The next shloka, which is shloka 43, Narad Muni says, the great sage Narada continued, "My dear king, those two, the man and the woman, are supporting one another through mutual understanding, entered the city and enjoyed life for 100 years. So 100 years of lifetime is different for different planetary systems. When 100 years is 100 years. Similarly, for us, it's 100 years. These two people, they enjoy. The body is getting, so typical, the body is getting 100 years of life to enjoy or struggle here. So body is tied with that intelligence. So the man and the woman are together. Okay, when they are together, what happens? Many professional singers used to sing about the glories of King Puranjana and his glorious activities. When it was too hot in the summer, he used to enter a reservoir of water. He would surround himself with many women and enjoy their company. So Puranjana, the body, started enjoying all the senses that came along with Puranjani. Right? So you can remember this, right? So he gets attracted, he gets diverted. So people are glorifying. Who is the one who is glorifying all the activities that you do? Our ego does, right? Our ego does, it tells you, "Arey, you were the best person today. You are so attractive. You are so wonderful. There is no one so sweet like you." Okay, that's what happens. Materially, you're like, "Arey, mujhse acha kaun hai?" Okay, and whatever different things that you see in the world, everything is a marketing that puts you here. You go out, all the banners, the posters that you see, "Arey, buy this watch, you will look the most attractive. Buy this perfume, all the women will come behind you. Buy this new dress, all the men will be attracted by you." That's what is advertisement all. And why do people buy all these things? Because they believe that they are the best. they believe that this will make them the best. Okay, we tell Krishna is Bhushananam Bhushan. So he's the ornament of the ornaments. When you put ornament to Krishna, it makes the ornament attractive. But for us, we use the different ornaments to make ourselves attractive. The different types of dresses that we wear, the different jewelries that people buy. Why this material world is surviving? Because people think I am the best, right? And you have I'm trying to recollect, there was an old movie that where the girl where the heroine actually tells मैं तो अपनी favorite हूँ, and that was today we call it meme. Those days I don't know what we used to call it, but that used to be a very favorite dialogue among people. मैं तो अपनी favorite one. That's how everyone thinks, and that's what is the biggest corruption that we have. The mind doesn't let us think outside. Okay, so Narad Muni is saying how they got married. They are together now and they're trying to enjoy for 100 years. Of the 9 gates in the city, 7 were on the surface and 2 were subterranean. A total of 9 doors were constructed and these led to different places. All the gates were used by the city's governor. Okay, now here it's going to talk about the body and the 9 gates of the body. Like I said, I'll be using Shubodhini, so we can cover this topic in the next 5-7 minutes, ideally. So I'll read through the translations. There's not much in the purport, and then we'll go to Shubodhini trying to relate them. My dear king, of the 9 doors, 5 led towards the eastern side. Eastern side is the front. 1 led towards the northern side. 1 led towards the southern side, and 1 towards the western side. Okay, and these are the 7 doors. The 2 gates called Kadyotha and Avirmukhi were situated towards the eastern, facing the eastern side, where but they were constructed in one place. Through these 2 gates, the king used to go to the city of Vibrajtra and accompanied by a friend whose name was Duman. Okay, I'll bring up that list. Okay, these 2 are the eyes. It talks about the glowworms and the torchlight. It's on the eastern side. They are together. Similarly, on the east side were 2 sets of gates named Nalini and Nalini, and these were also constructed in one place. Through these gates, the king, accompanied by a friend named Avaduta, used to go to the city of Saurabha. Saurabha is smelling, and these are the noses, the two gates, which are your 2 nostrils, right? So Nalini and Nalini. The 5th gate situated on the eastern side was Mukhya, or the chief. Through this gate, accompanied by friends, 2 friends named Rasagna and Vipana, he used to visit 2 places. Mukhya, which is your mouth, 2 purposes, tasting and talking. So that's what it talks about here. He does Rasagna, which is tasting, and then of course he does the speaking as well. The tongue has 2 activities. The southern gate of the city was known as Pitruhu, and through that gate, king used to visit the city of Dakshina Panchala, accompanied by the name Shrutadhara. Shrutadhara, the right ear, is used for karma kandiya or fruitive activities. As long as one is attracted to enjoyment of material resources, he hears from the right ears and uses the 5 senses to elevate himself to higher planetary system. This will actually lead him to the Pitraloka. He can go up. Okay, on the northern side was a gate named Devahu. Through the gate, King Puranjana used to go with his friend Shrutadhara, the same friend. Shrutadhara is both the Shruta, hearing, to a place known as Uttara Panchala. That was Dakshina Panchala. This is Uttara Panchala. Okay, the right ear takes to the Pitruhu or Pitraloka. The Devahu, or the left ear, takes you to higher planetary systems such as Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Brahmaloka, or even to higher planetary systems. Okay, if you hear properly. All this will come. Prabhupada mentions this in the purport about Bhagavad Gita 9:25, where it says, Yanti Deva Vrata Deva, Pitrana Yanti Pitruvataha, Bhutani Yanti Bhutechu, Yanti Mat Yajinopima. Right? So you will take birth among the demigods or the Pitrus or the Bhutas, depending on what is your work, what is your desire, whom do you worship. Okay, what is the kind of worship? And finally, the Lord says, Yantimad Yajinopima, meaning the person who worships me will come and live with me, will come back to me. So this hearing process is very, very important, wherein you hear the right way and get attracted to the Lord. Otherwise, all the Gramya Katha will keep going on and we'll be wasting our time. Okay, on the western side was a gate named Asuri. Through that gate, King Puranjana used to go to the city of Gramaka and accompanied by a friend, Durmata. Durmata means madness. We'll finish the next one. Another gate on the western side was known as Niritti. Puranjana used to go through this gate to a place known as Vaishala, accompanied by a friend, Luptaka. Okay, these are your genitals, basically the two parts. Okay, so now just quickly going. So Asuri is called the genitals, or Gramaka means sex life. That is the destination. Goes with a friend named Durmada. Okay, you get unnecessary madness. Durmada means madness. Okay, unnecessary madness in trying to enjoy sex life. That's Asuri. Okay, similarly, the rectum is basically called your niritti, and greed is the one you overeat, you're greedy about stuff, it's very painful. Vaishala is the very painful part. So these are the different shlokas till 53 that talks about the different parts: two eyes, two nostrils, one mouth, two ears, and the genitals, right? So these are the 9 gates for this body. Okay, and who is explaining all this? Narad Muni is telling that these two people are in this body enjoying, and he's telling this to Prachina Barhi, saying that, look, this material world is very, very dangerous in this body. If you don't use it properly, then everything looks attractive and nothing is permanent. So you will be struggling here. You will never get out. Of the many inhabitants, moving on to Shloka 54, of the many inhabitants of the city, there are two persons named Nirvak and Peshashkrit. Although King Puranjana was a ruler of the citizens who possessed eyes, he unfortunately used to associate with these blind men. Accompanied by them, he used to go here and there and perform various activities. Can the blind man perform activities properly? So his intelligence is blinded. But these two blind men here, right? So Nirvak and Peshakrit, these are considered to be our hands and legs. Okay, the hands and legs do not have any intelligence where they don't go anywhere without by themselves. They are usually taken care by the owner of the body. And the owner of the body, if he's unintelligent, he'll take them to places where there are uselessness, and otherwise he'll take them to places that are very useful. Sometimes he used to go to his private home with one of his chief servants, the mind, who was named Vishuschina. Vishuschina. Okay. At that time, illusion, satisfaction, and happiness used to be produced from his wife and children. Okay. Oneself is situated. So this private house, basically his private house is the heart. You renounce other things. That means you're trying to enjoy yourself through the mind, and you start having different kind of illusions, different kind of things. This time, no, I will do this. उसको मैं दिखा दूंगा मैं कौन हूँ. If I become the president of this country, then I will bring in this. Okay. Oh, and it's a reality, right? So each of you might have your own attractions. Someone might be wanting to would have dreamt of becoming a hero or a heroine, some cricketer or a politician or whatever it is. All of us want to become or would have wanted to become someone very famous if I had become famous, right? So all this happens, and this one you will not tell anyone. It is in your heart. That's what is the work of the mind. Your closest friend is your mind. You will take your mind and go wherever you want. You will enjoy that. अरे ये ऐसे होता तो ऐसे इतना अच्छा होता. You will tell yourself all this, and then when it comes back to reality, you are again very obedient. So don't feed your mind. Don't keep dreaming of things that make no spiritual benefit, right? So this waste of time. Okay, being thus entangled in different types of mental concoction and engaged in fruitive activities, King Puranjana came completely under the control of material intelligence and was thus cheated. Indeed, he used to fulfill all the desires of his wife, the queen. Right. So many places the Shastras have this kind of a story wherein you're completely subservient to your wife or your intelligence, to your senses. So this is, I mean, you can take stories of it's a Yayati or an Ajamila. They can't. They Bilvamangal Thakura. Why are we hearing these stories? Because they showed us that they became so fallen, getting attracted to the material things, and finally they were able to elevate themselves at one point in time. And that's why we hear about these stories. And when they became serious, when they got themselves elevated, whatever they had done in the past, whatever unfortunate things that they had, they all were wiped away. Right? So we should also understand that don't get attracted. So shlokas 57 to 61 are all together. Okay, these shlokas basically talk how this king was so badly in her control, completely controlled by Puranjani, okay, or completely attracted by the wife. So here wife is our intelligence. So I'll just read through this. This is very simple. It just talks about different parts of the shloka. When the queen drank liquor, King Purajana also engaged in drinking. When the queen dined, he would also dine with her. When she chewed, he would chew along with her. When she sang, he also sang. Similarly, when the queen cried, he also became very morose. He also cried with her. When the queen laughed, he laughed. When the queen talked loosely, he also talked loosely. When the queen walked, he would just walk behind her. When the queen would stand still, the king would also stand still. When the queen would lie down in the bed, he would follow and lie down with her. When the queen sat, he would sit with her. When the queen heard something, he would hear the same thing. When the queen saw something, he also wanted to look at it. And when the queen spelled something, the king would follow her to spell the same thing. When the queen touched something, the king would also touch it. And when the queen was lamenting, the poor king also had to follow her in lamentation. In this way, when the queen felt enjoyment, he enjoyed. When the queen was satisfied, the king also felt satisfied. Okay. So the intelligence and the mind, they direct all the emotions. Blindly, the king just follows, right? The body just has to follow because the body doesn't have higher intelligence. And that's where we hear, in fact, Prabhupada in the purport also mentions the story of Amrish Maharaj. Amrish Maharaj engaged in his mind at the lotus feet of the Lord. Because of that, all his senses had no other duty but to serve the Lord. He went, so it says that every walk he took, it was for the Lord. Everything he heard was about the glories of the Lord. Everything he spoke was about the Lord, chanting the glories of the Lord. What he wanted to see was the beautiful form of the Lord. What he wanted to touch is the lotus feet of the devotees, and so on. Right? So Amrish Maharaj gave a typical example of how a devotee should control the mind and get uh, involved into all these activities. Else, he just has to follow the dictations of the mind, and that is extremely fallen condition. Okay, moving on to Shloka 62. In this way, King Puranjana was captivated by his nice wife and was thus cheated. Indeed, he became cheated in his whole existence in the material world. Even against the poor, foolish king's desire, he remained under the control of his wife, just like a pet animal that dances according to the master's order of the master. Okay, we are specifically doing the same thing. We are attracted by this material sense gratification, even after hearing so many things about the Shastras, like the 10th offense, it says, even after hearing so many things, we are still attracted to material. That's one of the offenses, right? So we need to understand our intelligence should be trained for us to move forward. Otherwise, we are going to be attracted by the Puranjanis of the world, that which will make us fall down. Okay, that's not going to elevate us. Okay, how one can become captivated by the association of one's dear wife is explained in this chapter by Narad Muni. Attraction to one's wife means attraction to the material qualities. One who is attracted by the material qualities of darkness is in the lowest stage of life, whereas one is attracted by the material qualities of goodness in a better position. Sometimes we see that when a person is on the platform of material goodness, is attracted more or less by the cultivation of knowledge, and thus with that knowledge, he gets to a Brahmabhuta platform. Brahmabhuta Prasanatmana Sochitina Kamshati is not attracted or stuck here. In this way, one's life will become successful if he is able to control his mind, control his intelligence, or redirect them properly to the spiritual path. Okay, and that's the sum and substance of this chapter. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the fourth canto 25th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Descriptions of the Characteristics of King Puranjana. Okay, so that's the name of the chapter. Okay, so what we need to understand is we should not become a Puranjana. So we should don't be like Puranjana, but be a servant of Purushottama, Lord Shri Krishna. That's what we should do. So we started the session today saying that the material things, even after whatever we achieve, we are still dissatisfied. There's some restlessness saying that, Are, thoda aur hota to acha hota. Spiritual life also has the same thing. We'll also feel that a little bit more service will be better. And that is actually called progress. Okay. Wonderful devotees. The entire August we had tons of festivals from Balram Purnima to the elaborate Krishna Janmashtami for 3 days, then Radhashmi, right? So we had elaborate festivals and the devotees served every day, every function, and there are thousands of visitors coming and they did such wonderful job of taking care of them. And some of these boys on the day of Janmashtami, we had the previous day we had extended Adivas program, we had some culturals and so on. On Janmashtami we had a program, we finished by around 1:32 in the night, and the youth boys were cleaning up. Some of us were also there around. We had Prashadam very late, and then we said, okay, let's take a break, let's go. And these boys were like, nahi Prabhu, bahut acha lag raha hai Prabhu, we'll just finish off this because tomorrow is Vyas Puja, Prabhupada's day. How can we leave something dirty? And that says that in spiritual life, if you're doing something, if you're happy doing that, you will relish it so much that the Lord will make sure you get more and more services. The only pure measure of the Lord being Lord accepting our service is that we will continue to get service. Whatever service it be, maybe the same service or some other service, but when the Lord is happy with your services, you'll continue to get services. That means we have to redirect our focus from material attraction to spiritual attraction. So that's basically the summary of what we heard today. Like I said at the beginning, this is very, a dry flow of the material subject matters, which all of us are expected to know. The Puranjana story will continue for another few chapters. It's not ends here. This Puranjani, what happens once he does not accept to something that his wife says? What will happen to his life? That's what we'll see in the next class. So I'll stop here. We are almost on time. Any devotee has any comment, anything, please feel free to let me know. And I'm very sorry that my notes was in the other screen in the laptop and I couldn't actually share. But devotees can feel free to unmute and please share your comments.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Manams. Prabhuji, the argument here by Narada to Prachina Barhi, yeah,
Achtabhai.
Prachina Barhi, was that you are doing violence in the name of ritualistic activities, karma kanda. Therefore, you will be punished. But what about those people, who are doing karma kanda without violence? Because today we don't
Yeah.
do, I mean, people don't do any fire sacrifices or they don't kill animals, but they're doing the fire sacrifice only. I mean, what is the argument against that? I mean,
There's no argument, Prabhu. There's no argument. It's a very simple thing. You're still punished. It's not punished. See, even Prachina, but in this case, he was told that you're doing this animal sacrifice, animals are waiting to take a revenge on you, but he will get elevated to higher planetary system. He is not going to suffer the way we are thinking. Narad Muni, you will be in this body, that itself is a problem. That itself is your struggle. Okay, so if you are intelligent, you will come out of it. So those sacrifices that you're mentioning may not necessarily be hurting. Now, considering all the government rules and regulations across the world, there is no more sacrifices that animal sacrifices, narabali, or the animal bali and all that. There are very few, and it might be happening in some remote places. The other sacrifices, even the karma yoga process, like I said, 70-80% of our scriptures talk about demigod worships and all these different sacrifices. You're still in the bodily platform. And Narad Muni's whole purpose of coming to Prachina Parishad is not because he's a sinful person, is because he's a person, the king should be attracted to Krishna so that not only he himself is benefited, but his entire praja is benefited. That is the mercy of Narad Muni. Okay, so that's what he's trying to tell us here. So that's why I give the example of demigod worships, even right from your Satyanarayana Puja to your Ganesha Puja to Varamahalakshmi, these few pujas that are happening in the last season, right? So we spoke about our Balram Purnima or our Krishna Janmashtami, but people talk about those pujas also. Even today, this weekend, in front of our house, they have put a big pandal. They have a program, Ganesha program. Okay, so and by evening they will start doing lungi dance, lungi dance. That's their highest understanding. They're enjoying. It's not for their enjoyment. It's meant for the enjoyment of the personalities, right? So that's what is the missing point. So all the karma kand activities are meant for self enjoyment. Right? I will progress to a better position. I will get better money. My children will get married well, and so on. And as long as you're in that consciousness, useless waste of time. Shrama eva hi kevalam.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I wanted to connect it to that one pastime about
Yes,
Nriga
yes.
Maharaj. Nriga Maharaj pastime.
Riga. The one he became a lizard.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
I mean, the conclusion of that was Karma Kanda is not enough for elevation going back to Godhead, and it may be dangerous also, something like that, no?
Yeah, see, King Riga was doing a super good sacrifice. He was giving everything in charity. But if you're not very careful, even unknowing mistakes, because you're in the karma kanda process, you take the ownership, right? So unknowingly, he gave the same cow to two different brahmanas, and that made him to become a lizard for so many thousands of years. Finally, he got the darshan of the Lord. That was the blessing that he got as well, because he was still trying to serve the brahmanas. See, karma kanda process, like we always discuss, right? It is going to keep you in the material world. It is still temporary. There is a possibility, I'm not denying it, there is a possibility of actually getting elevated, getting back to getting liberation. Process is very slow. And anytime you're attracted by material qualities, anywhere, in any of the lokas, you're still stuck there. Right? So that is why it is very, very dangerous to take up a karma kanda process, uh, so karma yoga process expecting us to elevate. That's why we bhakti. Okay, you have started slowly, your life will be filled with only bhakti processes. Don't have to go into any karma activities. So in fact, who's that Acharya? He actually says, Sandhya Vandanam, I'm very sorry, please forgive me. My daily all the
Yamunacharya. Yes, yes.
demigods. I'm very
Voice is breaking a little bit,
sorry
Prabhuji. Sorry. Your voice.
because I'm attracted to. Okay, I'm very sorry. So, yeah, Yamunacharya actually says that, saying that all these activities which are my supposedly the activities that I need to do, I'm very sorry. Please forgive me. I'm so attracted. I'm so busy in serving Krishna that all these things I want to, please forgive me. I'll not be able to do. And that is what is called elevation, right? So as we progress, these smaller activities or bigger activities that we thought were important, they will all drop off. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you all for joining. There is a wonderful class on Haridas Thakura happening in Sheshadipuram right now. I want to go there, and there is my Guru Maharaj class is Holiness Jayapatak Swami Guru Maharaj is giving an online class as well. So devotees can continue to hear. Today is Haridas Thakura's disappearance day. Yesterday was Bhaktivinoda Thakura's appearance day, and just 1 minute I'll take. So if you want, if in the Grihastha Ashrama, if you want to know how to plan your life centered around the Lord Krishna, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given you his timetable. Very, very difficult or unlikely that any of us can follow, but we should also have a regulated or a time stipulated way of following. That's what you always learn from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And today's Haridas Thakur, the Namacharya's disappearance day, how Mahaprabhu took him and told This is the personality for the holy name. So if you have not yet finished your Solamala, please chant. And if you have done, please chant more today and hear the glories of these Vaishnava personalities. Please do that. So I would also like to go and hear a few things. So thank you all for joining in. Thanks for giving this opportunity. I'm very sorry about my network today. Didn't expect the broadband will turn off after the class started. So, or just before the class started. So I don't know. Okay, thank you everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, will you be putting that link of that lecture of Haridas that is coming up on this?
Just go to YouTube. Just go to YouTube. Put in ISKCON Sheshadripuram. It's a live YouTube that should be coming. I have also not seen yet. Actually, they have just put it in the temple groups. So, Sri Hari Prabhu, if you are able to share it, please do.
Yeah, Prabhu,
please,
I'll just
Prabhu.
take it out and I'll share it. Yeah.
Sundar Sham
Thank you,
Prabhu is
Prabhu.
giving. No, thank you everyone. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you very much.